Hello and welcome to the sixth part of my Pillars of Eternity blind playthrough. In the last episode, we finally finished everything in Gilded Vale. At least I hope so. And we visited the Temple of Eotas, where we got a quest to bring the remains of dead priests to one guy who did get injured while trying to recover them. So, as a good party, we have just done that, and we have found out some interesting things while doing so. I'm not gonna talk too much about it because I don't want to spoil the few people who have never played it before, but now it's the time to continue and to visit some areas around, probably Caed, and sooner or later we will have to visit Redrig's Hold. So enjoy and continue the game. Okay, so we are in the Bloodhound Inn, and we already have visited Silanleys, Valewood, Magran's Fork, Anslug's Compass, Black Meadow, and the next place, well, Mudbridge, Caed, and Easternwood. From Easternwood in our journal, it is said that we will have to go through Easternwood to the Redrig's Hold, but I want to keep that for a little bit later. I don't know. I think I will visit the Mudbridge as a first place, and from there we go to Easternwood.
Good day to you.
Let's check what kind of adventurer it is possible to recruit. And
Margaret's fire casts light
we
in
are
dark
level
places.
4. I think we have enough money
Hail, traveler.
to create the level 1 adventurer. Just for the heck of it. But yeah, let's do that. If it will be a mistake, we just reload it again and let's see what kind of character we can create. And I think I'd make a female now, because no female in the godlike. Come on, godlike. Let's take the elf. And let's create monk. No, a barbarian. Barbaric Gale. I played that kind of barbarian in my pen and paper game last time. So let's do it this way. And from. And again living lands. Mercenary is the best one. Let's take this. And this. So. And voice.
Just say the word. Leading the way. Quickly and quietly. Well? I'm flattered. Let's go. They'll never know I'm here. Just say the word. I'll lead the way. Keeping an eye out.
Nah, let's go with this. And the name, yeah. The always worth thing, worth thing in my games to came out with original. Let's do something completely unoriginal.
What is it?
Give him some weapons. This is a stock. I think this should be okay for now. No. This one is much better. I'll keep this for my tank. Just in case. Damage reduction 7. Let's see some armors. And I think this one is exactly what I need.
Yes?
Okay. We have the first adventure manually made, and so let's go visit the modern bridge. $18.
Yes?
They won't see me coming.
As always, let's scout this area first in stealth, and then we'll see what can be found.
Nice and quiet.
Maggots squirm amidst the deer's entrails.
Silence surrounds me.
A troll.
Verathus!
Yeah. Oh?
Let's stun him for a while. Good.
Spot on! That's it!
A blade in the dark.
The Xaurips really have very similar sounds to predators.
Well,
Hey.
Certainly.
They won't see me coming.
Yes.
Ah! Not quite! I'm stuck over here.
They won't see me coming.
Fine hatchet.
Oh?
Okay, let's talk to Paragond. Damn looters can't be bothered to find an honest wage. Curse my luck, the woman mutters, kicking her foot into the ground and upturning a clod of soil. As you approach, her ears twitch and she turns to greet you. Hail, traveler, she says with a half-hearted hand wave. The bridge to Defiance Bay is out, if that's where you're headed. You will need to find another route. What destroyed the bridge? The river has been rising on account of all the storms. Here, where the river narrows, the flooding did the most damage. The Orlan woman folds her arms, a skull overtaking her face. Guess they don't make things to last around here, do they? One of the stone columns collapsed in a flash flood, taking the whole middle section of the bridge out to sea. Madden Bridge was the most direct route from Gilded Vale to Defiance Bay. Merchants and travelers know how to find boat passage or add days of extra travel to loop around the bay. So I started a ferry service thinking I'd earn some coin and help others cross over to the bay. Peregrine shakes her head, her ears twitching as she speaks, and that was a bigger mistake than the time I allowed a cipher to court me. Mistake? How so? I had been attempting to turn a quick copper butt. She bites her lip, her face turning flush with anger. Just my luck. The blasted currents threw my ferry into the rocks, dashed it and my profits to pieces. Making matters worse, when I went to prowl the shore to salvage whatever shipping crates didn't think, a pair of looters attacked me. She stomps her foot into the ground. The damned brigands had the nerve to attack. I managed to avoid harm, but now they have stolen by force all that is left of my fortune. So she eyes you for a long second, her hand cupping her chin. You know, you look like you'd fare better against those looters than little old me. Could I enlist your help? Uh, I will take a look. Peregrine smiles wide, her ears perking up. Thank you. I'm sure those thugs have made a mess of my stock, but maybe there's something there to be saved. How do I get to Defiance Bay? With the bridge destroyed, the best course of action would be following the rivers north. You will be able to cross farther upstream, but you've got a long walk ahead of you. Bye. Very flotsam. Find the wreckage. I should investigate the area immediately downstream of the modern bridge and look for signs of the wrecked ferry.
Yes?
A blade in the dark.
Let's finish exploring first and... and another Kickstarter NPCs.
They won't see me coming.
That over there? That'd be the easy way to get to Defiance Bay. Before the floods, anyway.
What I have found.
What have we here?
This one would be looting.
I'll see what I can find.
A looter. There is already first, so... Let's go this way.
Certainly.
Keeping an eye out.
Hmm?
Gathered around the socket timbers of a ship wreckage, men and women peek through the driftwood, snatching motley silverware, moldy clothes, chipped pottery, and anything they can spot amongst the detritus. All eyes turn to you as you approach. The group trade nervous stares at you until at last a woman in muddy clothes steps forwards and speaks. "Where are Bretal and Turan?" she asks. "They were just up along that path, and we heard fighting." Her eyes narrow, and a hand moves toward a knife on her belt as she anticipates your reply. Who? "My cousins. They were waiting up the path, keeping an eye out for..." Hanwen's voice falls silent as she looks at the path by which we arrived. "Trouble. They attacked us. It was a matter of self-defense." You killed them?" You see Hanwen's eyes tear up before she buries her furs in her hands. The men and women around her take a step back, eyeing you cautiously. Hanwen looks up, wiping her eyes. You speak of self-defense. Well, we are defending ourselves from this storm. Her voice rises and her face grows flush with emotion. The floods took our entire farm. We have nothing left. Nothing. No food, no roof. And no, I don't even have my cousins. She throws up her hands in despair. We don't want to fight you. We have lost enough already. Please, just leave us. I came here investigating some missing cargo. We mistook your cousins for looters. She blinks in disbelief. Looting? But this is a wreck. What value does it have? The man and woman all turn to her, their faces frightened and worried. Please, we need these supplies dearly. The storm took everything from us. It is not our desire to steal, but we are destitute. Should we let these wares just sink to the river bottom? I'm sorry for your misfortune. Can I help? Perhaps you could tell the merchant you found nothing beyond bits of driftwood from her point of view. It will be as if the river washed it all away. Besides, how much copper will she really make by selling these rotting clothes and soiled wares? I will see what I can do. Thank you, she sighs, wiping sweat from her brow. You are the first turn of good fortune to come our way in a very long time. Hanwen snaps her fingers at one of her comrades and points to a pile of supplies drying in the sun. We don't have much, but take this as a token of our thanks. I should return to Paragon with news of her cargo. The looters, claiming Paragon supplies, turned out to be impoverished survivors of the storm. I said that I would lie and claim I found nothing, so that Hanwen may keep the cargo. What's the hermit's hat? Immunity to confused and intellect, and I think that one is right for my character. And this one will be for Durance. No, Durance. Oh yes, Durance is a tinfoil hat. The frayed end of the rope drifts in the river.
Laying low.
Oh, so this is... no, I don't steal. Let's go to Beregund. I will be probably missing a lot of items that way, but yeah, I told myself I will be kind of the good guy this time around. So let's tell good Beregund now. Beregund bounces on her feet at your approach. My helpful stranger returns. Have you managed to find anything yet? Even if all you found is driftwood, just knowing those looters got what they deserved would moisten my breeches. Okay, I picked through the wreckage, but I found nothing salvageable. It must have washed away. Peregrine kicks her foot into the dirt several times. I figured just as much. Well, thank you for your assistance. I suppose I need to figure out how I'll recover my investment. At last her foot stops kicking and she lets out a long sigh. Thanks for trying. If you find yourself in Defiance Bay, Sergio my shop. I'll need all the customers I can get. Okay, so next time we meet with Peregrine in Defiance Bay. Okay, now it's time to go to Esterwood. But before, I think it's best to have some rest. Let's see. It's 18 hours, so yeah, Gilded Vale for a sleep. And Esterwood for a road to Redrick's Halt. Okay, looks like we have 2 points in Benevolent Reputation. And we are champion of Gilded Way and neutral with Defiance Bay.
Hail and well met.
I'd like a room, please. And let's go for this one. Plus for tourist, yes. Let's try it out. We have some money now. And I think I'll... I think I will go sell some Xarip stuff to our friend. We have it full.
Greetings.
I'd like to see your ware, please. Okay, so let's... Okay, let's stay at this. And now is the time to go to Easterwood. Estanwood.
I'll see what I can find.
So let's search. Warning symbols as red as and rough as caps. What? Warning symbols as red and rough as caps have been carved into some of the trees. Oh. East to Redrig's Hold, west to Gilded Vale. Warning symbols as red as rough as caps have been carved into some of the trees. Gewicht.
Hey.
Certainly.
Margaren's fire casts light in dark places.
Golden celery. And another warning symbols.
For this!
Nice and quiet.
Human skeleton. Okay. I think we have to prepare some blunt weapons.
Hey.
Yes?
Eloth. No.
What? Margaren's fire casts light in dark places.
What's this? Oh, the memorials of the backers. Okay, let's skip this for now.
Yes?
It's too much of them to read it. And more memorials.
Now here's something.
Find dagger and cape of deflection. Let's see. Reflective fine. Who could use deflection? I think for now it's better for our barbarian lady.
Yes?
More. More monuments. Graveyard.
A blade in the dark.
Spear spider.
Nice and quiet.
Remhorn helm. Yes. Best helm so far for Durance.
I'll see what I can find.
And the famed Redrick's Halt. Or Caed. Let's see. I think we should go to Merwald first, or not. Let's talk to Durance for a bit, because I don't know how often we have to talk with him to get his quest finished. And what must you say now? I had questions I wanted to ask you.
If doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skinning your knuckles on the wrong door.
I wanted to ask you about the region and its history. Do you think there's any tie between the Hollowborn and the Godhammer?
Aethys was the god of rebirth, and his light does not fall on the Deerwood. I've heard some claim it's his doing, his death. It's closed the halls to new souls. I doubt it. The Hollowborn have their roots in the acts of men, women. I feel it.
I wanted to ask you about the region and its history. Durance grants. Do you know anything of the Deerwood and the surrounding nations? Deerwood's the best of them. Still has spirits if a land can have one. It's a place where a man can walk freely, even make new roads, and that's a rare thing in this world. Its generations, however, are damned, so no new footfalls may spell an end to it. Do you mean Hollowburn? Yes, Eata's last step at revenge after he was ended. Durance frowns. Eatas was the god of rebirth, and his light does not fall on the Deerwood. I heard some claims it's his doing, his death. It's closed the house to new souls. He scoffs. I don't believe it. The problem is closer than that, and as always, it involves woman and man, and they are always circling, within and without. The Valian Republic's Red Seras, the Saints' War. One big bladed spiral, shredding everything around it. How do you feel about the Valian Republics? Durance snorts. Fortune seekers garbed in robes of office, manipulators, traders, and traitors all. Don't hold them in high regard? Duran's grunts. Any country so obsessed with style might as well be wearing scars over their eyes. Keep vigilant, or they'll turn you into slaves as soon as ink dries on the trade treaty. The Deerwood and all its internal riches is too tempting, especially if someone else tames the country and the face painters for them. Face painters? Durance waves his hand dismissively. Tribes, Glenfettans, cluster around the ruins like flies. What about Retzeras? Duran's face flushes, and the sheen of sweat forms on his brow. Too many adjectives to that so-called nation. Civil unrest, economic collapse, all tinder, just needing the spark right. Some farmer shows up, takes a gut into himself, then takes a crown on his head. This divine kingdom he tries to set up goes about as well as you'd expect. A trickle of sweat runs down the side of Duran's cheek and sinks into his beard. Suddenly, the population of heretics goes up by about half and again, and Eotes starts turning his blood-stained gaze to every blasphemer he can find. Cleaning house is one way to put it. His face darkens and his eyes narrow. Purge is another. Put them and their gods in their place, though, with enough force to kill that damned country too. Not a supporter of the country of Retzeres. Elot passes by casually muttering under his breath. Surely you know where this is going by now. It's not a country, it's a gathering of cowards, added puppets. They used to be an optimistic bunch, a bright bunch. Durance laughs at bright, as if a private joke. Was their undoing, should have embraced their misery without letting a farmer lead them to a brighter ruin. Almost Eates puppets too. Put an end to that. They dangled on his strings, Wade went dangled on theirs. They would never have had any success on the battlefield had not their gods come down. The Saints' War, Durance knows, needed to call on their gods to have a chance. Tell me about the Saints' War. Duran's eyebrows draw together in a frown when then he grunts. Keep forgetting your feet are new to the Deerwood. The Saints' War.
Wasn't a war. It was a god stepping past himself. The country of Red Saris and all their heathens. They're paying for it now. Although by my count, the fire should have roared through their country with more force, catching all their souls. Truth, it wasn't even a war. It was a cautionary tale about pride. Specifically, Widewood's pride. He should have stayed a farmer.
What happened? Was that 15, 16 years ago? 28-7? Durance pauses, then shakes his head and shrugs. My memories are back with a younger me. I don't hold on to dates. I hold on to actions and causes. The war was an act of arrogance, born straight from Red Sarah's twitching legs. A man thinking himself more than a man. Durance snorts. Wants to kill someone? Tell him God speaks through him. Then tell him he means him to lead, which puts him at the front of any army, and the army was as strong as you expect for Retzeras, as sick as that country was to begin with. Yet a war was likely just what they needed. What was wrong with the country? Retzeras has its shares of troubles, it deserves all of them. It deserved Wade when he was the light that led to flame. Retzeras was in decline, their poison already eating its veins, economic bleeding, the dying of their faith, Durance frowns. And then Waidwen, this farmer, claims to take up Eates in the flesh and gives them the worst kind of hope. What happened then? They crown him. Durance taps his head, making a slight bow, and when his face turns back to you, he's wearing a feral smile. They make him king, the worst kind of blasphemy. And once he wears the crown on his head and the god in his flesh, why, he starts making changes, divine changes. Duran's eyes blaze. Then he decides he's going to change us, save us. How? He marches on the Deerwood to free us from our beliefs, like he freed the other souls in the Red Serras. Cold Morn offers up its belly with no resistance, and it's spared, Duran snarls. The bloodshed starts when he sacks Mercywell, a touch of irony that puts it to the flame. Cold Morn? Duran spits, snarls, cowards, and Cold Morn is an apt name for them. They lay still froze. They lay still, frozen, while their fellows burned. They'll pay Magran's price one day for such cowardice. What did Eates do next? Eates keeps marching. Deerwood takes to the trees, cutting at his flanks, his scouts, his troops. It seemed near hopeless. Duran's face becomes grim, then smiles slightly, until Helgot's citadel, the Godhammer. There we put him to the flame, burned the gut out of him, if there ever was one to begin with. Dozen brave men and women take to the bridge, make a stand, then we torch him there with the fire of the Godhammer. What is the Godhammer?
Gods have taken flesh, in all respects, taking willing and unwilling vessels. It's not a violation, it's what gods do, as long as they accept all that comes with it. Men are weak. Gods? Well, we showed old Widewen that he was flesh and blood, no matter how much light was pouring out of his farmer's hands. Took men of faith to build a weapon, a godhammer. Judgment. Proved him dead at Helgot's citadel.
It was a weapon of Deerwood's people, their independence. There are few that would deny that Eotes overstepped. The Godhammer reminded Eotes of this. A fire and force so terrifying, so bright it burned a god away. Durance holds his staff and his hand looks around it, tracing the etchings. As you watch the top of the staff blossoms, burns brightly, and Durance speaks, his face illuminated in the fire. A weapon that will burn brighter than Eotes, and we led him to it and burned him at the stake. The stake was the Godhammer, and we impaled him on it. You said you fashioned it? Duran's nuts wasn't easy. Shaping it, crafting it, the pieces, the core of the relic. Even then, it was a massive thing, something that required a god to come to it, rather than be cast at him. Though luring him to it, that was the easy part. Gods are prideful. What happened? We led him to fields once that he remembered as farmer, perhaps. The fields right outside Helgot's citadel, Durance frowns. No Godhammer citadel. It was right across the Avon Diover bridge, an easy trek, Durance frowns. Men died, then more died, luring Eotes onto Avon there. We had carved veins and passed through the bridge, excavated the foundations, filled them with powder and ember-hungry grains, eager to burn. Our hands had even pried the mortar and rock loose, sharpened them to points, so they might be rent from their foundations easier, and tear through the flesh of the pretender. And so you used Evandir against Eotes.
We poured the god hammer into its foundations with faith. Set it alight. Let the hammer fall, upwards onto the anvil. 8 died before the god hammer fell, and the god hammer claimed the remainder. 12 in all.
And Eotes went back to the Ether, or the grave, Durance grunts. He's lost his voice and his love of war, I'll tell you that much. He sneers. It took only towns by men, and that was enough to lure him across the bridge, and right into the new sun. Durance straightens his back, draws a deep breath. It let Red Serras see how bright of their arrogance had become, and became a symbol by which we answered their purge with One of our own. Purges?
We started saving the Aothasians from themselves, burning any that didn't die with their god. Heresy in Raed Ceres is one thing. Heresy here in the Deerwood comes with a more personal touch.
If you fight an enemy long enough, you become them.
As I see it, every Aothasian who still lives in the Deerwood puts the nation at risk, is another dagger held to the throat of our faith. Root them out, burn them, or send them back to Raed Ceres to wallow in the blood of their failure.
I wanted to ask about the region and its history. Are you a servant of Vale? Let mysteries and questions remain with him, at least until the next time we need to rest. Okay, I have decided. I go to Sidnua first, and then maybe to Redrick's Halt. "24 hours. Kednua is impressive in size, but little else. The keep is in complete disrepair. But if old Merward is still lord of this place, then I am likely to find him within.
To whispers and shadows.
Just off the side of the path into Kednua stands an imposing figure, a tall, thick-set Aumaua, clad in worn armor and peering up at the outer walls of the keep. In his hand is a small piece of charcoal, and it works feverishly at taking notes upon a small scrap of paper. More than once he has to reach up to prevent his colorful cap from falling off his head as he gazes upward. That moldy brickwork must be fascinating. The mantle looks over at you, blinking in surprise. His face splits in a wide and very toothy grin, and he waves the parchment in greeting.
It is. Well, not the wall itself, perhaps. The construction is very traditional. There are names scratched upon some of the bricks, just there. Workers and masons, I expect, carving a little immortality for themselves. It's a fine keep, Caed. 2 centuries to its name, and abandoned for nearly as long. But the truly interesting part is in there, and I haven't had much luck in reaching the keep itself. I hoped to find the master of this place, a man by the name of Meerwald, but it seems that he either holds his privacy most dear, or else has been devoured by his house guests.
I came here looking for Merwald as well.
Oh, truly? Then perhaps we can help one another. The grounds are infested with all manner of beasts. I've never seen the like. I didn't want to risk it alone, but you seem capable. Together, I'm sure we could manage it. And then we can both ask our questions of Meerwald. I seek a great treasure, you see. Not gold or silver, but the Tanvi Oratoa. You might call it the Book of Virtues. It's a sacred text of the Rauatai, but we possess only a fragment of it. A year I've journeyed in search of the rest, and I uncovered evidence that leads me to believe the original lies just there, beneath the keep.
Why would this Tenvi Oratua be here in the Deerwood? Precisely. That is the very question, he logs. It is a long and twisting tale, my friend. As all good chants should be. I can tell you more, if you wish it, in time. Let's go meet Merwell then.
Excellent. Lead on, my friend, and I will be at your heels. Ah, wait. Speaking of that, I ought to warn you first. Wondrous teeth, I nearly forgot. I have, at times, been followed. It began in Adir, and in Exometal they attacked outright. I believe they do not wish for me to find what I am looking for. I say believe, but I have been told as much by one of my would-be assassins. I pay them little mind. Humorless sorts in long robes. But it's why I bought the sword, you see. And it's only fair that you should know.
You seem very calm about this.
Well, it's not as if I'm going to turn around and go home at their urging. If their previous efforts are anything to go by, we have very little to worry about.
Kanarua has been waiting outside the gates of the keep, hoping to find assistance in crossing the infested bailey. He believes that Merwald may provide him with answers concerning the tablets he is searching for. It seems we both seek this old Watcher. So we have full group now.
Following your lead.
Let's check his inventory first. Edit chants.
Well,
Hey. I?
Oh?
Yes?
Chanters spend most of their time in combat speaking chants. Chants are arranged strings of magical phrases that produce different effects. Once one phrase ends, its effect will linger, overlapping with the effects of the next phrase. When a chant reaches the end of the final phrase, it will loop back to the beginning. Careful arrangement of phrases can produce a powerful sequence of passive effects. Click on a chant to select it. Phrases clicked on the left panel will be added to the selected chant. If you wish to remove a phrase, click on the phrase in the chant. I think this would be okay for now. So,
Oh?
let's search a little
I
bit
shall be
around.
discreet. Certainly.
I'll see what I can find.
Durance is melee, so this is a little bit better. No. Let's make him melee and him ranged.
Hmm?
One shutter cast still smells faintly of ale, long spilled into the dirt.
Let's see what lies this way.
Looks like this place has been abandoned for years.
Shadow.
Certainly.
To whispers and shadows.
Frayed lengths of rope and few flint chips are scattered across this workbench. Only weeds grow in this dusty patch. The hedges grow in shaggy heaps shot through with weeds and tall grasses.
Certainly.
A blade in the dark.
Let's check the area first before going inside.
Hey.
Curses!
Hey.
Oh?
They won't see me coming.
Tangled wires and broken gears litter these wooden boxes.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
Let us end this! Hmm?
I shall be quiet as a calm sea, which is not very quiet.
This was probably some kind of church before. This trapdoor has been battered by elements. Tugging on the rusted handle only produces a heavy rattling. Small flame blight. Oops.
Hey.
Immune. Let's see this. I think we will go this for a while. A lot.
What is it? Still alive. I need.
Okay, this needs magic.
If it...
How may I help?
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
We will to get sleep anyway, so I think this is okay. To spend some spells on that.
Leave our village! We've done nothing to you!
Villager?
Yes? You can't do this!
Spectral smoke churns all around you at first. You can see nothing except the haze, but gradually you make out the wizened, hunched shape of an old elven man. His face and bone-thin arms are smeared with paint. You can't do this, he shakes his head, spitting the words at you. Listen.
This is our village, our home! The Nine Claws have lived here almost 50 generations. We were here long before your kind brought war to our lands. You can't just burn it all! Have mercy, soldier! Our warriors have all gone! You can't burn us all because of them!
He reaches out to you and opens his mouth to say something, but all that emerges is a series of violent coughs. He falls to his knees, choking on the thickening smoke. Flames overtake the vision as you back away.
Yes?
They won't see me coming.
Finish them! Sharp eyes and keen ears.
So we have two options, here and here, and I think I take this one first.
Hey.
Yes?
The shelves creak under the books. Many of the covers are mottled with mildew. Cobwebs bind the remains of a broken alembic, a cracked mortar, and various shattered bottles and vials to the table. Nothing here.
I'll see what I can find.
Kitchen. The sour odors of rancid grain and spoiled fruit permeate the air. Dust and rusted utensils cover the countertop.
Nice and quiet.
Rats skitter among the broken stairs. Looks like that's it. Okay, so let's go to the biggest building in the area.
Sharp eyes and keen ears.
Caed is impressive in size but little else. The keep is in complete disrepair, but if old Merveld is still the lord of this place, then I am likely to find him within. The keep seems abandoned. There are spirits here, as there were in Gilded Vale, creatures too. It seems I will have to explore further if I am to find answers.
Well, that's... unusual.
Whispers of Yenwood. 100 sword, unique. Good. This will be yours for a while.
Oh? Hey.
Yeah!
Bathed out.
Margaren's fire casts light in dark places.
The grey and brown pelts of mice flit between the boards. The brazier's chains are rigged with rust. Steward. As you come to the end of the great hall, you perceive an inviting warmth radiating from a grand throne wrought out of marble, its masterful artistry out of place amidst the castle's more practical stonework. The veiled face of a woman is carved about the throne's backing, watching over the room with hollow eyes. At your approach, you feel the warmth fluctuate, a thought stirring. A voice rings from the carving, permeating the fortress through stone and air. Another
Another
watcher.
watcher in Caed, glowing very brightly indeed to these eyes. What strange happenstance.
You know what I am?
One could hardly mistake it. You're burning like a candle. Of course, I also know what to look for. In any case, I assume you're here looking for Maywald?
Tell me more about Merwald.
He was a great man. He came here one day, young with long hair and polished armor, and he banished the dark things that had come to lurk in this place after centuries of neglect. He could see the beauty of this place, the way it had been, so he claimed it for his own when no one else would take it. We worked together to restore it. But he began to grow distant some time ago. He never told me why. He retreated deeper and deeper into the keep, never leaving, sending servants for food, hiding himself from my sight. The restoration stopped. Now, to look at the place, you'd never know the progress we'd made. In most places, it's worse than it ever was. And all I can do is watch it crumble around me.
Are you imprisoned in that throne?
Imprisoned? At times it feels that way, I suppose. But it's more that I reside here. The throne was brought up from the ruins. One of the first things they found. As a last favor to a dying woman, the Earl arranged for me to be moved into it. Audra is an accommodating vessel for a soul. Oh, it's not as confining as it seems. I can feel the whole keep from here, and all things that are tied to it. There's something about this throne and its construction. Or maybe it's something about this place.
Any idea where I can find Merwald?
I can feel his presence faintly somewhere deeper inside the keep. But he uses his gifts to confound me, and my senses are dulled while he does so. I only wish I could know his mind.
Farewell.
Take care in your search. Many dangers lie in wait here.
I'll see what I can find.
Empty. Okay, let's go first here, and then to find the old guy. Let's see where this door gets us.
You're not getting through me.
Curse your eyes!
Speeders have taken up residence in the empty shells.
And what does the flame reveal?
This map shows the Deerwood's old colonial borders, a settlement called New Denrit. It's marked in the place of present-day Defiance Bay.
Silence surrounds me.
It feels as if cobwebs are the only things holding this rickety old mess together. Something has made a nest out of old straw and mattress sticking. That's it? Yeah, looks like it. So let's go to the underground.
Laying low.
The brazier's chains are rigged with rust. Mother.
Yes?
Been out playing soldier again, have we? Go wash up and come help me shuck these peas.
She turns from you long enough to produce a basket that, like her, is shimmering and semi-transparent. And no complaints. You got to eat your vegetables if you want to grow up strong and be a real soldier one day. Just like we agreed, right? She watches you out of the corner of her eye. Say nothing.
Soldiers are important people. They defend the weak and punish the wicked. You're too young to understand now, but there are lots of wicked people. People like the man who murdered your father.
Remind me, what happened to my father?
Before you were born, the Glanfathans attacked settlers like us. They said we'd knocked over some of their special Adra rocks. That's why they call it the Broken Stone War. They got very angry, and so they came into our villages and killed many people. Your father was one of them.
He was one of the people the Glanfathans killed? That's what I said. Her voice is low and hoarse, and her hand is frozen over the basket, something dark and empty clouds over her eyes.
That's why you'll be a soldier one day. To protect and to avenge. Why don't you go back out and play? I'll finish up here.
Oh? Shh.
The silver trails of slugs gleam inside the barrels.
Let us end this! I can't move!
You're not
Yes? Shh.
Hey. You're not getting through me.
Pray. Following your lead.
Certainly.
New orders, Lieutenant. Ready your squad.
A spectral man arrayed in armor and officer's cloak studies a single sheet of paper. You can see straight through it to the ducal and Edir insignias on his breastplate. He seems to read over the page several times before looking up at you. When he does, his expression is unreadable.
There's been a change of plans. Take your squad and march south all the way to the bow in the river. Bring a wagon team and a dozen barrels of pitch.
His voice falters and shakes his head. The hand holding paper drops to his side. Tell me about the orders.
The instructions come from Admeth Hadred himself, which means they might as well have come from the Duke. We're to burn those hut dwellers out. Set fire to the deerwood so they've nowhere to retreat. Cut them down when they come out. Or let them blaze if they won't.
A ghostly sigh forms a mist in front of his lips.
It'll make this even shorter than the broken stone war, all right. And we can only hope it'll discourage future conflicts. I know this is personal for you. It is for many of us. But understand, we're doing this to end this war, not to continue the last one. Remember that we're flushing out the enemy, not burning villages for sport. Bareth will have his work cut out for him tonight.
Sharp eyes and keen ears. And does the flame reveal? Keeping an eye out. Nice and quiet. Nice and quiet. Silence surrounds me.
This cut is rough with splinters. Inside the keep, I found a spirit entombed within the throne that sits in the great hall. She has opened the way down into the depths of the keep, in the hopes that I might find Merval somewhere below. So we are into another in another underground level of Caed Keep, and I think I'll leave this for the tomorrow or for the next part. We have come through some of the new places around or in between the Gilded Vale and the Defiance Bay, and we'll see what will await us in the levels below of Caed. So I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I was playing it, and see you later. Enjoy the rest of your day.